are joined by tennis star Cole Greathouse to give his preview and predictions for the upcoming Australian Open.
All right, what's up, guys? I got a lot of stuff to get into, so I'm going to just go ahead and get started. So obviously this weekend, the first round happened, and I'm pretty sure it's over now. There's a lot of good matches and a lot of stuff we can look forward to. So the first thing I want to mention is obviously Sinner and Alcaraz had an easy first round. They played unranked players pretty much. They cruised through. Actually, the guy that Sinner played retired a little bit halfway through the match, so smart decision by him because obviously he wasn't going to win.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. It was like, I don't know if he was injured or if he was just like, yeah, I'm not going to risk getting injured because I'm definitely not winning this, but yeah.
For our non-tennis fans, he like he's done with tennis forever?
No. Okay, no, retired from the match. That means
okay. I thought you meant like he's done.
No, like he didn't retire injured. Like Sinner didn't make him retire, but okay, whatever. Sorry. Next, one of my favorite matches from this weekend. This was actually two nights ago. Nishesh Basavareddy, who is one of my favorite players, believe it or not, played O'Connell, and they had a 5-set match, great match there. And Nishesh Basavareddy, he's one of my favorite players because I saw him play, well, I didn't really see him, but I watched his match against Djokovic last Australian Open, so last January, and he took a set off of Djokovic. And keep in mind, he's really young. He's still young. He's like 19, 20 years old. And so over the summer, I heard he was going to be playing at a tournament in Lexington, and me and some of my friends went up there and actually got to sit like courtside and watch him play. And we were like, giving him words of affirmation and stuff in his ear, like when he was close to us, telling him like, you got this, let's go. And he actually ended up losing, but it didn't really matter because we still got a picture with him. And yeah, he's just one of my favorite players. I like watching him. He had a very good match against O'Connell, who has a one-hand backhand. He's a pretty interesting player. 5-setter, and he had some downs. I was watching, and I actually had to turn it off because this was really late at night, but I thought he was going to lose when I turned it off, but it turns out he kind of locked in there. He got his mentality right and came back for the win. So that was one of the highlights of the weekend. And now in the second round, he's going to play Konchanov, who is currently the 15th seed in the tournament. Konchanov just beat Mitchelson, who was another one of my favorite players, and I really thought Mitchelson was going to get him, but, because it happened last year, Mitchelson beat Konchanov. It was in like the third round, but it didn't happen this year. I think Basavareddy is going to step up, level up his game, and, he's going to get his revenge for his buddy Mitchelson there. Then over the weekend, Lerner Tien, who's another American player that I like, played Marcus Giron, who is a very solid player, not really high ranked, so it was kind of an underground first round match there. But it was a good match. It was a little bit close. Tien got the win there. And I'm feeling confident for him to actually make the quarterfinals and potentially the semifinals. I think he is going to meet Medvedev in the quarters, and then honestly, I could take either one of them to win. I know Medvedev is definitely going to be the favorite going into that match for most people. But you think about last year, Tien and Medvedev met, I believe, in like the second or third round, and Tien did get the best of him. It was a 5-setter, but it was still a very, very good match. Tien played very well. So I think if they play each other, I'm going to give Tien the edge there and have him to win, and then he would play Carlos Alcaraz in the semis, which I'm not really sure how that's going to go. Next, we have Alexei Popyrin, who has had a disappointing year overall, starting from the beginning of last season. He lost in the first round. I really thought he was going to do better because he's a higher-ranked player now. And honestly, he has been he has had high standards ever since he beat Djokovic at the 2024 U.S. Open and then made a little bit of a run. I think he made it to the quarterfinals. People really thought he was going to be a good player, and that's including me. I thought he was going to be going to the top 10 soon. But he really just has not made any tournament runs since then. And so it's just been really disappointing for him. I'm not really much to say about him. He lost to Muller, who I really don't even know. So that's how you know it was an upset there because I don't even know who the guy he lost to is. And, yeah. So next up, we got my predictions. So some of my predictions here. I'm predicting that so I said Medvedev was going to face Tien in the quarterfinals. I was wrong. It's actually in round 4. So that's one of my predictions. I think that's going to be one of the best matches of the tournament. Round 4, Medvedev versus Tien. Look forward to it because it's going to happen. Tsitsipas won his first round, which was surprising, and I'm predicting that he's actually going to go on a little bit of a run here and make it to round 3, which might not sound that impressive, but considering it's Tsitsipas, who has been notorious for losing in every single round 1, I think that's a little bit of a prediction there. So that's my prediction. And now Shelton. Oh man, I feel bad for Ben Shelton here. I know Torian knows who Ben Shelton is because Trinity Rodman is his girlfriend.
Very
but,
beautiful lady.
Yeah, this is true. But I feel really bad for him because every single Grand Slam, like for the past 4 Grand Slams, he's been on Jannik Sinner's half of the bracket. And I mean, really, the only person I would take to beat Benjamin Shelton on a hard court is Jannik Sinner, because Jannik Sinner is obviously the best player in the world. I mean, nobody's arguing with that. He's just pretty perfect. But you got something to say, Tori?
Alcaraz is the best player in the world.
I'm taking Federer.
No.
Federer.
Say that again for the camera, Tori.
Alcaraz is the best player in the world. Alcatraz.
No. So go ahead and put it back for me. I'm going to tell you why he's not. So Jannik Sinner is currently the world rank number 2, but there is a very logical explanation for that. Alcaraz is number 1, and the only reason he has the number 1 spot is because Jannik Sinner was banned for 3 months last season because of an alleged doping case, which it really wasn't his fault. He just had to pay the suspension because of the negligence of his team, like his physio team and everything like that. So he was not able to defend his points. He was able to play Australia, but he wasn't able to defend his championship in Rotterdam. He wasn't able to defend his semifinals in Indian Wells. Wasn't able to defend his title in Miami. Wasn't able to defend his semifinal in Monte Carlo, which altogether, all those points from those tournaments would have added up to 3,000 ATP points, and he's only down by 1,500 right now. So he would definitely still have the number 1 ranking, because I think, honestly, he would have done even better in those tournaments than he did the last year, especially Monte Carlo, because, last year he just had a really unlucky match against Tsitsipas. There was a bad line call that maybe threw off the whole match there and gave Tsitsipas a break in the deciding set. But he's obviously the best player in the world. I just don't understand why people think that Alcaraz is better. Alcaraz loses to randoms every 3 tournaments. He will lose to somebody that is not good at all. He lost to, I can't even remember his name because it's somebody that nobody knows, and Alcaraz will just lose to them because he has a very high cap for his skill, but he doesn't play to that level every single match, which is the difference between him and Sinner. Jannik Sinner never really plays bad. Maybe once in a blue moon he will have a bad match, and he will somehow find a way to still win. So that's why Jannik Sinner is obviously the best player in the world. But getting back onto what I was saying, Ben Shelton has had to play Jannik Sinner every single Grand Slam before the semifinals. He's going to be on track to play Jannik Sinner in the quarterfinals here in Australia. What was it? The U.S. Open, I think Ben Shelton had to retire, but he would have played Sinner in the semifinals, I believe. He played Sinner in the semifinals of Wimbledon. He played Carlos in the semifinals, or in the quarterfinals of Roland Garros, but that's Sinner and Alcaraz at Roland Garros are about the same level because it's on clay. And then at Australia, he played Sinner in the semifinals, which is just, you got to give this guy a break. I think he really is one of the best 5 players in the world, but his ranking just doesn't show that because he never gets an opportunity to actually make it to a final because he has to play Sinner all the time. So I feel really bad for him. I know he's not going to be looking forward to that quarterfinal matchup against Sinner, but he's just got to get through it right now. He had a good first round match, pretty easy. And then I'm going to go ahead and quick list some of my semifinal and quarterfinal predictions. So for the quarterfinals, I have Sinner versus Shelton, obviously. Djokovic versus Musetti. I think that's going to be a really good match. Musetti might actually be able to pull up a win there. Zverev versus Medvedev. That should be an interesting one. There's a lot of beef going on there, but I think Medvedev will take it. Alcaraz, you said no?
No.
No to what? Zverev and Medvedev?
Yeah.
You don't think they'll be playing in the quarterfinals?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Definitely not. Not even
know.
Even close, Cole.
I think Medvedev has definitely had his downs, especially in the past season, but I'm thinking he's looking really good for this tournament. I got confidence in him. Zverev, he's not a crowd favorite. Nobody really likes him. I'll be honest, I don't really like him either.
Me
but
neither.
Let's be honest, he's a pretty good player. I'm pretty confident he's going to be able to make it there. And then the last quarterfinal matchup, we have Alcaraz versus De Minaur, which I think it's going to be a pretty decent match. And I said Zverev versus Medvedev. Medvedev could be interchangeable with Lerner Tien, so either one could go either way. And then for the semifinals, I have Medvedev / Tien versus Alcaraz, and then Djokovic versus Sinner. Sinner is going to 3-set Djokovic pretty quickly. We've seen it before. Yeah. I think Djokovic is on like a 20-set losing streak against Sinner. He lost to Sinner in Wimbledon in 3 sets. He lost to Sinner in Roland Garros in 3 sets. He lost to Sinner. Actually, that's the last time I could think that they played each other. Yeah, but two of the last 4 slams they've played each other in the semifinals, and yeah, it's going to be a pretty quick match. Djokovic just doesn't have what it takes to keep up with Sinner's fast game plan there. And then for Medvedev/Tien versus Alcaraz, I think that this is a match that Alcaraz really could choke, especially if he's playing Medvedev. I think if he's playing Tien, he'll probably get a pretty easy win. But against Medvedev, it really just depends on Alcaraz. I'm not really sure who's going to win that match. Alcaraz could play really bad or he could play phenomenal. And then for the final, I'm going to go ahead and just say it's going to be Alcaraz and Sinner. It's going to be the 4th. This will be the 5th slam in a row that Alcaraz and Sinner have played each other in the final if this happens. And out of the past 4, Sinner has won. No. This is not. I was actually wrong. This will be the 4th slam in a row that they have played in the final. Out of the past 3, Alcaraz has won 2 of the finals and Sinner has won 1. And this time, sorry, bro. This time, I'm going to pick Sinner, obviously. He plays his best at Australia. I'm pretty confident in that. Everybody knows that. He's got the last 2 years under his belt for Australia's title. And I think he's going to continue that this year. It'll probably be a good match. I'm going to predict a 4-setter. I don't think it'll go to 5 just because, Sinner plays that much better on Australia's courts in the heat and everything. The ball moves a lot faster. And, yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today. Y'all know these predictions are obviously going to be right because I know just about everything about the tennis community. So, yep, that's all. Oh, do you have something to say, Tori?
Yeah, I got my final would probably be Alcatraz
Nope.
and Ben Shelton.
Nope. Okay, I'm going to tell y'all why this isn't happening. Okay, Ben Shelton has played Jannik Sinner. He played Jannik Sinner, I already mentioned it. He played Jannik Sinner in Wimbledon, and he played Jannik Sinner in Australia last year. He has not won a set. Didn't win a single set in both of those matches because Jannik Sinner just counters his game so much. He counters everybody's game, let's be honest. Carlos Alcaraz is the only person that can beat Jannik Sinner, but Jannik Sinner is not the only person that can beat Carlos Alcaraz. That's a good way to look at it because Alcaraz does have all the tools that are needed to beat Sinner. He just doesn't use them all the time in the ways that he should. He has a lot of variety to his game, but players like Ben Shelton who rely on the quick serves, the quick forehand punches, the 1-2 play to go ahead and get quick points there, you don't really want to get into a rally. It's not going to work against Sinner because if you serve 140 miles per hour at him, he's going to return it 150 back. So
yeah, everybody can do that.
No, he's going to slap the ball with his forehand and that loose wrist, and it's just going to go back in every single time. And there's not much you can do about it. Ben Shelton's really going to struggle. The lefty advantage doesn't really help because Sinner's backhand is just so strong. So it's definitely not going to happen. I don't think he's going to win a set at all. But, that's it. Torian obviously doesn't know what he's talking about for tennis, but yeah, look at him over there.
He never knows what he's talking about.
Never knows what he's talking about.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing.
He's cheering for Ben Shelton just because of Trinity Rodman. But that's all I got for y'all today. I'll see y'all sometime, I guess.
Yep. So thank you for that, Cole. If that's something you enjoyed, let us know down in the comments section, and we will gladly bring Cole back.
If there's at least one comment, about tennis on the YouTube channel, then I will come back for another episode.
Let's make it 2.
Let's go 2. I can find an alt account to comment on.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as always, thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of TSC Talks. We cannot wait to see you later this week for our next episode.